Good evening. Welcome to the second March Hoboken Board of Education meeting. This is a special meeting for the adoption of the budget. And just to clarify, the board will not be voting on the budget tonight, but rather the administration will present their draft budget to the board, and now it will be in the board's hands to review. In about a month or so, the budget vote will take place. And between now and then, the board will have the ability to meet with the district's business administrator to dive into the budget to fully understand it. Ms. Good, can you please read the statement of compliance?
This meeting is being held in conformity to the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-6. Proper public notice of the meeting was published in the local newspapers on March 13, 2021. If any board member or member of the public in attendance believe that this meeting is in violation of the Open Public Meetings Act, the Hoboken Board of Education requests that they make a statement at this time. The board wishes to make those in attendance aware that this meeting is being recorded on video and will be broadcast by the board at a later date on CATV Channel 77 and FiOS Channel 46. The full meeting recording will also be made available on board docs, which can be accessed through the district homepage. The Hoboken Board of Education is committed to preserving the decorum of the public process and is mindful that we live in an electronic age of computers, cell phones, and other electronic communication devices. Nevertheless, we respectfully request that all meeting participants kindly silence their electronic devices during the course of the meeting. And if use of the device is necessary, we ask that you please leave the meeting room if you need to conduct personal business. Sharon,
Sorry, I was muted. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have the roll call, please?
Ms. Catamatori.
Here.
Ms. Delira.
Here.
Mr. Delator.
Here.
Ms. Khanna.
Here.
Mr. Klupfel.
Here.
Ms. McGurk. Ms. Simon.
Here.
Mr. Kirian.
Here.
Ms. Ainley.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, at this time, I'll turn the meeting over to Business Administrator, Ms. Good.
Hi, can you please pull up the presentation? Okay. This is the Hoboken Public Schools preliminary budget presentation for fiscal year 2021-2022. Next screen, please. Okay, the preliminary tentative district budget, when approved, is to be submitted to the New Jersey Department of Education at the Hudson County office for review and approval. The Hudson County office may request or require changes to the preliminary budget. Once a tentative budget is approved by the Hudson County office, the district may advertise the budget information to be presented at a budget hearing. Please note that all financial information in this presentation is subject to change. Next slide, please. The district highlights. Built in this budget is an increase in the contractual salary and benefits as negotiated by the associations. Increases in the current staffing level to meet the enrollment growth. The district is maintaining all current curriculum programs as well as the curriculum development and implementation cycle. This includes curricular initiatives at all levels. We're maintaining all current athletic program, and we're adding an ice hockey program for next fiscal year. And we're maintaining all co- and extracurricular programs. Next slide, please. The operating budget. Please so note that the charter schools budget is increasing by $1,099,359. Our child study team, which is special education, is increasing by 2.65%. Our custodial services is increasing by 4.76%. Our health benefits is increasing by 6.28%. And our tuition, which is for out-of-district placement, is increasing by 4.8%. Other increases would be 11.12%. That includes salaries and superintendent's office, business office, co-curricular activities, and any other services needed to support the district. Other support services are services related to special education. Facilities is increasing by 2.41%. Our school-based budget is increasing by 47.14%, and our student transportation is increasing by 3%. Are there any questions? Next slide, please. This basically says the same thing as the previous slide. This is our operating budget or proposed operating budget for fiscal year 2021-22. Next slide, please. As I previously stated, the charter school budget is increasing by $1,099,359,000. Please note that this equates to a 2.07% tax levy increase. In order to meet this increase, the Hoboken Board of Education is forced to absorb the additional 0.07% increase given to the charter schools. The Hoboken Public Schools District budget for 2021-22 has actually decreased by $37,078. In addition to the increase for all the services and the salary increases that we have built into the budget for next fiscal year. Next slide, please. Our local tax levy for fiscal year 22 is $54,176,311,000. Our private contributions is $46,271. Interest on reserve accounts, we're expecting $2,350. Our rent from the preschool providers is budgeted at $950,000. Our miscellaneous revenue is estimated at $360,000. Our miscellaneous revenue is comprised of any donations that we receive, any tuition that we're expecting to receive from students that we are anticipating receiving for next fiscal year. Our state aid from the Department of Education is $8,521,282,000. Please note that this is a budget cut of $460,000 in state aid. Our federal aid is $202,285,000. And our budgeted fund balance for next year is estimated at $2,273,942. Now, please note that the budgeted fund balance means that we have frozen spending for this fiscal year in order for us to have a budgeted fund balance for next fiscal year at $2.2 million. Next slide, please. Our revenue projection, as just showed to you, and this is the pie chart for those revenues. The biggest chunk, as you see, is the tax levy. The next biggest piece is the state aid. The budgeted fund balance follows that. The private contributions, the miscellaneous revenue, and then the federal aid. Next slide, please. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Do any board members have questions at this time? And as I mentioned earlier, we will have the opportunity over the next month or so to meet with Ms. Good and ask questions and review the budget to dive into the details.
So there's one thing that I want to make sure everyone is clear on, maybe not necessarily comfortable with, as Ms. Good and I weren't overly comfortable with it. We went into this budget season with a full intention of developing a budget with a 0% tax levy increase. Ms. Good did everything she possibly could to ensure that would happen. We made sure that we had all of our supplies that we needed for the remainder of this school year in order to have the fund balance that we needed for next year. We actually knew that the charter school increase was going to be over $1 million. We knew that that would equate to anywhere between 2 and 2.1% of a total tax levy increase. But we designed and developed a budget, and we submitted the budget with a 0% tax levy. After we submitted the budget, we were contacted by the county office, who reviewed the submission by software, and there was a fatal error that came up on the submission. The county business administrator was a little confused as to why there would be a fatal error. So he started to do a little bit of research. And what he found out was that if you are an S2 district, like we are, a district that's actually receiving state aid cuts over a certain amount of time, and you are a district that is spending below adequacy, you are not allowed to present anything other than a 2% tax levy increase or more. So after we got that information, we were a little, we both kind of said, well, we were a little surprised, yet at the same time, we did remember that there was some conversation about that in the past. So we decided that if we stuck with our commitment to the taxpayers of Hoboken, that we as a district would put together a budget without a tax levy increase, but knowing that we were required to do up to 2%, that because the charter school increase was 2%, that we were not ourselves going to go above and beyond the 2%. So what we actually had to do in order to meet that 2.07% increase on the part of the charter schools was we had to actually cut our budget by a little over $37,000 in order to still be able to come in with the lowest or the minimum tax levy increase that the state of New Jersey would allow us to do. So we stuck to our commitment. You certainly, as a board, can think that through and make recommendations to us if you so choose. I know that the county office reviews these budgets, and they themselves will probably try to encourage us to increase the tax levy even a little bit more than 2% in order to accommodate our budget growth. However, you know, we did have a conversation as a finance committee, and Ms. Good, I'm extremely proud of the work that she did coming through and putting a budget together that's consistent with what we had promised the committee. So with that being said, we do have a little bit of time to make adjustments if the board chooses to do so. You saw what the highlights were in the budget. We do feel like right now we have budgeted what we need in terms of staffing. Ms. Good was able to include 6 additional staff members for next year, including 1 additional special education staff member, which will be a full-time BCBA coordinator of our autism program. So we were extremely happy about that. We did not see, I did not see, looking over the budget, any decreases in our or extracurricular programs, which was extremely important to us. I know our families feel very strongly about our related arts programs, as well as our athletic programs. We made sure we maintained all of that and included the increases that were needed where they were needed. We just very strategically replaced initiatives from last year to this year so that we were not increasing those costs. And then finally, we utilized our grant funding that we received to purchase items that are critical to accelerated learning, mental health, social and emotional learning. So we feel very comfortable with that as well. We were notified not long ago that we will be receiving or we're set to receive some additional federal money. We're not exactly sure when we will get that allocation, but it's important for you to know that federal money is probably coming to us within 90 days. Although we're not 100% sure if it'll come before the finalization and the adoption of the budget. Most likely it'll come after, and it'll be a unanticipated revenue, basically.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Does anyone have any questions at this time? No? Well, thank you both. Next, we will move on to public comments on agenda items.
There are no speakers signed up.
No speakers? Okay, can we have the roll call? I'm sorry, moving on to consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay, can we have the roll call, please, Ms. Good?
Ms. Cadamatore,
Yes.
Ms. Delira,
Yes.
Mr. Delatorre,
Yes.
Ms. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Cluckful,
Yes.
Ms. Ms. Simon,
Yes.
Mr. Carrion,
Yes.
Ms. Angley.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great, and now moving on to public comments on agenda and non-agenda items.
No speakers.
Okay, great. Well, thank you both. That concludes our meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.